Hey, what's up? It's Bad Bullet, who is currently ill bullet, but I still managed to have a pretty decent game in my 140 with some nice damage, so I'm just going to do a voiceover of that and hopefully show you guys just some of the plays I make and the thought process behind them. Enjoy! Okay, so we load out on Abby, and yeah, very nice matchup. You expect to do well in a 140 in this kind of match with the DPM. You've got the 7 degrees of gun depression change, which is really nice for the mid. And maybe that upper hull armor will actually be effective against some of these lower tier tanks now. So the mid, the Abbey, is definitely the strong point on this map for a medium tank. So gonna head there at the start. Just myself and a light tank, so gotta be a bit careful. He's gonna keep going, which is a mistake. You definitely wanna be careful at the start of the game with your hit points. Able to get a couple shots in there, but not gonna commit. With 4 tanks there, that would have been probably the end of me here for this game, so gonna back off. I'm gonna try to get a different angle here instead, which might be a bit safer. Couple shots into the 1390. And then once again, just backing off when it gets dangerous. That's the way you want to play the start of the game, especially in a tank like this, which doesn't have the most amazing armor. It's not bad, but it's not great. I'm just gonna pull up here, try and get some back shots, but they're too far into the Abbey, so I'm gonna have to look for a different place to get some shots in. This is a really good spot to use if you can get to it safely. It's pretty safe once you're here, and you can often spot out any TDs, as well as sometimes crossfire to either the left or the right of the map. So I'm using this cypress tree here to basically double bush as I'm firing. Unfortunately, it's going to block my spotting as well, so I'm going to have to move to a different position to be able to do that again. And this time I'm just going to fire the shots because I'm concerned about him backing off, so. Auto-aiming here as I'm using the rock for cover. That's something you want to do in a fast-firing medium tank. It's going to limit the amount of time you're exposed. Spot on Odie, so I'm going to try and shut that guy down. And the second one, and someone else gets him before I put that in, but that's okay. He's dead anyway, which is the important thing when it comes to Odie. Now you'll notice this spot is really helpful if your team pushes the 1-2 line hard, because any tanks trying to retreat from there on the enemy team are forced to cross the open, so you can get good shots on them. Like that VK is crossing the open right now, and I'm not paying attention. Well, maybe he's not quite in the open yet. First shot's a bad one, but that's why you got a nice reload in this tank. Be able to get right back at it afterwards. And it's not something that happens a lot with this caliber of gun, but it's always nice when it does. I think my first shell must have caused yellow damage, and then second one hit his ammo rack again. At this point, I think I can aggress into the Abbey. I've got the hit points left. and it's kind of getting to the point in the game where I need to be a bit aggressive. I see their T-55A leaving, and right now I've got to go after him, because otherwise I'm going to have 3 tanks surrounding me. It's always better to single out your opponents and take them out as quickly as you can. When you got this kind of DPM, you don't want to let them surround you. And WZ behind. Now here I'm just going to stop really quick and put a nice shot in. I think I hit his cogwheel there, but it doesn't really matter in the end because I light him on fire as well. It's always a good trick you can use when fighting 1v1s, is to just stop at the edge of a building and hope your opponent can't react in time. So now I'm moving into the Abbey. I think it's the most important location on the map if you can get there safely. And hopefully I can cover my 705A here. Or rather, 705, if he spots anything. No shots into those guys, so just gonna wait a bit longer. See their light tanks killing our Audi, so I don't want to stay put for too long. This E3 looks isolated to me, so I'm gonna go try and flank him, but he's gone, and we're being capped out, so I'm gonna have to go back and try and deal with that. I see an OHM behind me here, so this is actually where I make one of my big mistakes in the game here. This first shot is fine. He's bushed. I'm not going to get lit for that, but this second shot, I needed to wait till he was behind the bush there. I don't think I get lit in the end though, so I kind of get away with it. This is my other kind of mistake. I shoot the Uds, and I should know the E3's right here, but I don't. I dodge, and luckily I get away with it. I would have lived there, but I would have been on very low HP. So first shot into the tracks there, second shot into the tracks again. These fast-firing tanks, you want to make use of that. You want to track your opponents down. And now it's kind of GG. I was in 1 vs 5 for a minute there, but not a very hard 1 vs 5 when 2 are Audi, and one of them is already double-tracked. So now I just have to find the Audi, a light tank, and a tier 8 TD. So, gonna head over to the river road where the Audi were last spotted. And there's the bat chat. Just gonna keep driving. Trust he can't react in time. I'm just gonna wait till I get dark. So as you can see here, the mobility is very good on the 140. You can move around as much as you want. It's not like a bat chat or a CS, but it's good enough to get around for combat purposes. And when they combine that with now decent gun depression, and of course the very good DPM that it had before, I think it's like second best or third best for tier 10 mediums. It's very strong. One of the best all-around tanks. Definitely worth picking up because it's actually quite competitive for being a tech tree tank, which unfortunately now is kind of a rare thing. So there's the light tank, able to shut him down. Now here you'll see I keep driving, and that's basically until I get unlit, so that's going to hopefully confuse the enemy if they were waiting for me. gonna try not to drive into the water, because that would be a unfortunate turn of events. Flip on a rock. That would be like me to do something like that right now. A little bit concerned the RHM might have been in the bush straight ahead of me, but I had to risk it, I felt like. In hindsight, probably would have been smarter to go on the lower side and cross in. And I get lit here, which concerns me, because now I'm thinking, okay, the RHM is definitely in that bush ahead of me, but turns out, actually, RHM's proxy spotting me from this cubby, so I'm not quite sure how I got lit and he didn't, because usually with proxy spotting you both get lit, so that's a bit of a mystery. Maybe he spotted me through this little gap between the abbey and the building. That could have been a bit worse, but we get away with it. Using this dead tank here for cover. Unfortunately, the gun barrel's at the wrong height here, but I'm able to just move it out of the way enough to get a shot in. HG on this tank is pretty bad, but against an RHM, you'd expect it to work. I think I must have hit his track there. So I decided just to go in, again, hoping he can't react in time. I had the HP to deal with it anyway, so. Easy pickup there. And now I got 4 minutes to find an Audi. There is the Audi, and yeah, you guessed it. The piglet will drown. That's a little bit spiteful, not the nicest thing to do, but not much I could have done about it. And he's just gonna get eaten up by a bunch of fish anyway, so. So hopefully that shows the importance of keeping your HP at the start of the game, and then using that HP that you've saved aggressively at the end to take out your opponents one by one with the DPM that the 140 has. It's really just one of the best tanks for backing up some pretty big games. And got a pools, Kalabanovs, and pretty close to 10k damage there, which is pretty decent for me. I don't get that too often. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll catch you another time. Later.